15/6. Now, first of all, is this a test question? No, and I'll tell you why this isn't a test question. I don't like these type questions because they confuse the student, and I can show you a whole lot easier way to do this problem. So that's why I'd rather just show you as a homework question rather than a test question. So here we go. First of all, you need to make sure you have, hold on a second, make sure you have, this is another one of those things that I told you should have. Look up 3 coin sample space. Kind of like the 3 kids.
You have a work
Oh my gosh. Okay, 3 coin sample space and hit images. And there's 3 coin sample space. So that's another one to have on your index card so you don't have to think it up. So the question says, and I'm going to go back, I'm going to write it down right quick because let's see, that's going to be H, 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 heads, 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 tails, 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 and then H, H, T. Everybody should be writing this down right now, but that's okay. H, T, H. I know that two or three of y'all are going to write it down. H, T, 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 H, H, T, H, T. TTH. Should be 8 of them. Same thing with 3 kids. 3 kids, 3 flips of a coin. They're the same thing because you can only have heads or tails. You can only have a boy or a girl. Okay, now the question says, let's go back to the question. It says you are given 5 to 2 odds against. Well, remember, I told y'all odds against is equal to the probability of failure over the probability of success. Now, I'm going to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. This is for your information. For your information. If you wanted to find the probability, you know that 5 to 2, the total is 7. So that means you had 5 over 7 divided by 2 over 7. And that's the probability of failure. And that's the probability of success. Now I put that in a little cloud so you can actually, that's a question you might see on my test. What are the probabilities if you have 5 to 2 odds, okay, against? And that's how you do that if you're given that question. But this question doesn't say that. This question wants the expected value. And the expected value is going to be the event, which is positive $5 times the probability, in which the probability of, what does it say, 3 tails? Where is 3 tails? Somebody tell me where 3 tails is. It's down at the bottom, right? Yes, Hubert, it's down there at the bottom where you have 3 T's. Yes, that's right, class. So what is the probability of getting 3 tails? 1 out of what?
1 out of 8.
1 out of 8. Plus the expected value of losing $2 times 7 over 8. And do that in your calculator. Okay, I'm trying to figure out Miss Oglesby, you're not at the Anderson campus, are you? Where are you?
The Pendleton campus.
Ah, okay. I'm not familiar with that canteen. Are you in Oconee Hall? Okay. I recognize it now. Down there on the first floor.
Vending machine.
Okay. All right. So you punch that in your handy dandy calculator. So let's punch that in the handy dandy calculator. And you get 5. I'm going to put this in parentheses. 5 times parentheses 1/8. 1 divided by 8 parentheses parentheses. 5 times 1/8 plus parentheses -2 times parentheses 7 divided by 8. And that's equal to -1.125. Now, when you're doing expected values for anything and you come up with a negative, what does a negative mean? Basically, you're dealing with a losing game, whatever the case may be. If you're playing tiddlywinks, if you're playing, blackjack, and you come up with an expected value that's a negative, I don't care if you do it 1 time, I don't care if you do it 100 times, you're more prone to what? Lose. So let's see what they ask. Negative 1.13. Final check. And we are correct. One game is not enough to predict anything. So, where does it say one game is not enough to predict anything? Which one says that? I think it's Delta, isn't it? And whether you play 1 game or 100 games, since you have a negative, that means you're playing a losing battle. So which one says you're going to expect to lose? I think alpha. And you feel good about yourself. Probability of this being on the test is very low. This is a good homework problem, but I wouldn't put it on the test. Everybody feel good about themselves? Again, look at there. What you prepare yourself with. If you have an index card, you need about 3 or 4 index cards with these different sample spaces. And I think I told you about that last class. Did I or did I not?
Yes, sir.
I'll even send you one right now. Well, no, I don't because I've messed it up. I had one. Well, I'll send it, but you got to fix it. Hold on a second. Let me go to, heck, Miss Oglesby popping pills. All right. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Oglesby. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm sorry. Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew, he's gone now. And they're working on the mouse. What's the mouse that goes, Andre? They're working on him now. We ain't gonna have no cartoons. The only cartoon we're gonna have is Caillou. Something's wrong with him. I didn't let my kids watch Caillou. There's something wrong with that kid. And he was a spoiled brat. I wanted to slap his parents, not him. All right, see if y'all got this. If y'all got this, see if y'all got that. Y'all see it? I'm going to pull it up for you. I'm going to show you what to fix. I was in a hurry when I did this for class yesterday or last night. You need to fix index cards, and some of your index cards needs to have sample spaces on them. This one right here is the one that's messed up. So you need to switch this to the following. Of course, most of y'all can do two kids. It should be boy, 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 girl, girl, boy, and girl, girl. So make sure for the 1 or 2 people that's going to print this out, make sure you make that change. Now, this can also be, you can write this down beside it also, beside each one. Hold on, where is my, I hate when I do this. You can also put beside it in green or another color, heads, 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 tails, tails, head, and tails, tails. See, that's coins. So you can do that, and then you can go over here. Of course, I'm talking to two people in the classroom. You can go over here, and you can do the second one, and write boy, 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 girl, boy, girl, boy, boy, girl, 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 boy, boy, girl, boy, girl, 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 boy, girl, girl, girl. And you can go beside that one, and you can put heads, 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 tails, 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 and then do the, so here would be heads, heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, heads, tails, 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 heads, heads, tails, heads, tails, 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 heads. And then on the 4, I'm just going to tell you, I'll tell you what to do with the 4. Make sure you do kids and you do coins. So I'll go and do this for you. Hold on. I don't know why I do this for y'all, because I know there's only 2 people that's going to do it. Let me go ahead and go up here and type in 4 coin. They probably already have one, but I'm going to make sure 4 coin. And I would put this one, the one I use is this one right here. You can use that one, or here's one right here you can use. Right click, save image. It's a lot of work. At least 4 buttons. 4 coins. Oh, I can't spell. C-O-I-N-S. I shouldn't be doing this. I should make y'all do it, but since I know there's only 2 people that's going to print it out, I'll do it for you. Now go back to the Word document. Let me go back to my Word document. Documents. I don't know where it is. Well, I can't see it right now, but anyway, anybody see it? Should say sample spaces. I don't know why it doesn't have sample spaces on it.
No, my screen's currently frozen.
Huh?
My screen is currently frozen.
Is everybody else's frozen? If I'm not presenting? Okay, it must be your internet, wherever. Who said that? I don't know who said it, because
Gil.
Miss
It
Gill.
just froze. It's just on and off. But it's just
Okay.
because I'm at the admin hospital working.
Okay,
So
it must be your internet. Anyway, to make a long story short,
Mr.
make
Hubert.
sure you have these. Let me show you. I'll show you another one in the homework here in just a second that you need to have, and that is die. Not die like the opposite of living, die like 1 dice. Okay, and I'll show you that also. All right, let's go over another homework problem. This problem is 7B, is in Bravo, 18/7. This is a test question. So we'll give you a second to write it down, since it's going to be on the test. Determine whether the following individual events are independent or dependent. So that means this is a multiplicative problem. Because when you're dealing with the multiplicative law, the word is and you have to decide with replacement. I'll show you this in just a second. Or without replacement, and I can't spell. Without replacement. With replacement is independent. Without replacement is dependent. Of course, I went over this fast because nobody said anything or asked any questions, so I just assumed everybody knew it. So that's why I just went on by it. Okay, so it says determine whether the following individual, blah, 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 blah. Drawing 3 queens, whether you know there's 4 queens in a deck of cards. Everybody knows that. And if you don't know it, you need to print out the deck of cards, Google deck of cards, and hit images, and it'll show you a deck of cards. All right, so you got 4 queens, and what is the probability of picking a queen and a queen and a queen? So that's a queen and another queen and another queen. Now, is the card returned to the deck? Yes or no? It's not. So this is dependent. And that's going to be 4 out of 52 times 3 out of 51, because you're not returning the card, times 2 out of 50. And 4 times 3 times 2 is 24. And 52 times 51 times 50 is 132,600. And no, I didn't do that in my head. And you know that. I ain't freaking Rain Man. Y'all have no idea who Rain Man is, so I might as well be talking to myself. Equals 1 over 55/25. I'm just your terrorist veteran NRA member. Okay. So let's check it. 1 over 55/25, and it is dependent. Dependent, and 1 divided by 55/25, and we feel good about ourselves. That is a test question. So I'll go ahead and I'll put that up for the 1 or 2 people that uses the video. I'll put that up right here. And you can actually, pause that during the video. That's what the video is used for the 1 or 2 people that use it. Okay. Next one. And I'm going to tell you this also. You can go to the other 120 class or the other 3 120 classes and look for multiplicative law or additive law or probability or counting with factorials. And you can watch those too for the 1 or 2 people that will do that. Why do I keep saying that? Because the majority of the people would rather just complain rather than do the hey, what's that word? Work. Yeah. 7B 16/6. All these short and sweet questions, they're test questions. So is this short and sweet? Let's look. Yep. Short and sweet. Determine whether the following individuals are independent or dependent. Well, I can tell you right now it's going to be independent, because if you come out a boy, can you go back and come out a girl? No. So this is without replacement. With replacement, sorry. So it's going to be independent. I think it is. No, it's going to be dependent because you can't replace. Okay, so it's going to be dependent. Because bodies, remember, bodies and votes I'm not going to say anything about votes, but bodies are without replacement. Let me ask you a question. If Miss Oglesby is running for president of student council, the reason I'm picking on Miss Oglesby is she's the only one not being weaned on a pickle this morning. Okay, if she runs for student council president and wins, can she say, well, I really don't want to be president. I want to go back and be secretary? No. Okay, so when you're talking about a body, meaning a person either voting or a person, in this case, a boy, you can't say, well, I came out a boy, I'm going to go back and redo it and come back a girl. All right? It's not possible. Okay? Now, let me go ahead and throw this out because of the era that we're in. Okay? I'm talking about at birth. Okay? I'm not talking about doing stuff later. I'm talking about at birth, you come out. In other words, when you're dealing with a boy, 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 girl, girl, girl type question in math, it is always going to be independent because you can't reverse the process at birth. Okay? I hope I said that without offending anybody. Anyway, let's go with independent. And let's go with 6 births being, so that's going to be 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, or 1/2 raised to the what? 6th power. Well, 2 to the 5th is 32. So 2 to the 6th would be 64. So I believe that would be 1/64. So it would be, I'm sorry, dependent. I keep saying, let's see, with replacement is independent. That's what I thought. With replacement. No, without replacement. Sorry. Dependent. Because you can't go back and replace yourself. That's the best way to put it. You can't go back and replace yourself. And usually when it's a body or a person running for president or a vote in a Congress or Senate, you can't go back and say, well, no, I want to change my vote and go back and do it over. You can't do that with those 3 things. So those would be dependent, and it would be 1/64. Oh, I had it backwards. 1/64. I had it backwards. It is independent. 1/64. I had it backwards. I explained it right, but I had it backwards. Sorry. All right, next one. All right, 7B 15/5. 7B 15/5. Okay, determine whether the following is independent or dependent, then find the probability of the combined event. Okay, rolling 4. Okay, this one is independent because you roll a die, you can't go back and replace it. You can't replace a 4 with a 3 on the side of a die. The die is cast. That's where that comes from. You can't change the numbers on it. Okay, that's why it's independent. And here we go. Let me put my handy dandy. So you've got two rolls, and then you've got a 1 roll. And this is 2 4s. This right here is 2 4s. And this right here is a 3. 1 3. Okay. So 1 2 3. There's your die. And 2 4s. Okay, this is 1/6, this is 1/6, and this is 1/6. So 1/6 to the third power is equal to 1/216. And that's the answer, I think. Yep. These last three are good test questions. Next, 7A 4723. 7A 4723. This one is a test question. The odds against your bet are 1 to 7. I'm going to do this because you might see a question on the test like this. I'm going to add for your information. Odds against, there's an N in there somewhere, equals probability of failure over the probability of success. So in this case, this is for your information. Sorry. For your information, I'm going to add something to this. 1 to 7, so that means there's 8 total. So the probability of failure is going to be 1 over 8 over 7 over 8. And that's for your information. So this is probability of failure. This is probability of success. That's for your information, okay? Hold on just a second. Okay. I have a cat that comes out on my back deck, and I think he's a feral cat or a wild cat. And I give him food whenever he comes to my back deck, but I can't give him food right now because I have to teach y'all, so I have to get my son to do it. That's why I hollered at him and told him to feed the cat. All right, I'll shut up. Now, the question says the odds are 1 to 7. If you bet $56, now this is the actual question. If you bet $56, if you bet $56, if you bet $56, now there's two ways to do this. One way to do it is multiply it by 1 1/7. Turn that into a decimal, and that's going to give you, when you do that, the 1/7 comes from the question 1 to 7. All right. So that's one way to do it, and you'll come out with $64. Now, how much did you bet? You bet 56. So the outcome comes out to be what? $8. That's how much you actually won. Now that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to just take $56 and multiply by 1/7, and that will give you a solid 8. It's a positive, so therefore it would be $8. So either way, you're going to get $8. And you type in an 8 right here, and you feel good about yourself. Next question. Sorry. Let me get rid of some of these I'm doing because I get. All right, 7A 43/22. Look and see if he's got a, oh, it is Simba. Okay. I'm sorry. Find the odds for or against the event roll. Okay, here's the, let's see. Find the odds for and the odds for and against. Okay, so here we go. Probability of failure or odds in favor is the probability of success over the probability, hold on, odds in favor is equal to the probability of success over the probability of failure. The odds against is pretty much the reciprocal, which means the probability of failure over the probability of success. Leave everything as a fraction because the math is easier. All right, find the odds for and the odds against the event of rolling a fair die, getting a 3 or a 4. Okay, so what is the probability of a 3 or a 4? Well, we already know that when you do or, that means addition. We know that from 7C. So you know this is addition. So I know it's in 7A, and I don't know how they expect you to know that this is addition when they cover it. And so it's kind of a misplaced question. But that's going to be 1 over 6 plus 1 over 6, which is 2 over 6, which is 1/3. Now, if the probability, if you hit a 3 or 4, that's success. What is failure? If you don't hit what? 3 or 4, Hubert, that's failure. So what is the complement of 1/3 to a whole? 2/3. Now you could say, well, that would be 4/6, the complement of 2/6 to 4/6, and then that's going to be 2/3. And that's the complement here. Complement is what makes up the whole. So the probability of success is 1/3. The probability, what's the opposite of success?
You have a
Failure.
email.
And the probability of failure is 2/3. So the odds in favor is equal to success over failure. The probability, the odds against is 2/3 over 1/3. Multiply by 3 over 2, multiply by 3 over 1, and the 3's cancel. And they're supposed to be opposite inverses of each other. 1 to 2 and 2 to 1. And that, don't forget to water them. And that is your answers. Question. Now, why is that a test question? Because, you know, you usually are just asked for one. So that's really 2 test questions, but I usually don't ask, you know, that as one question because it's a little bit too much for a test question for a probability class, okay? But you could say both of these are 2 test questions. Okay. I think the next one is when we do the die, and I'm going to show you how to do a die. 7A 41 slash, wait a minute, 7A 41 slash 21. Now, just ignore all this. I'm going to cover that up because that'll do nothing but confuse you. Okay. The sums that appear when two fair four-sided die look like pyramids, okay, with sides 4, 8, 12, and 16. Okay, whenever you're given a die and they asked you to die, roll 2 die, you always do this. You always draw a chart. And you put the numbers on the side. So this is going to be 4, 8, 12, and 16. 4, 8, 12, and 16. Now, the reason I'm showing y'all this is because if I have, let's see how many students I have in here right now. Well, so far I've got like 17 students in here today. And if I showed 17 students this problem, about 5 of you would be able to do it. The rest of y'all probably either have forgotten how to do it or don't know how to do it. And this is how you do 2 die being rolled. Now, what if I had regular die? Well, then it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you just start adding 8. 4 plus 8 is 12, and you're going to see a pattern. 4 plus 12 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. And you see the pattern, 8, 12, 16. And then this one, I bet, is going to be 12, 16, 20, 24. So 8 plus 4 is 12. 8 plus 8 is 16. You'd be surprised at how many people have done this and you don't see the pattern. So the next one is 20, and 16 plus 8 is 24. Now the next one is going to be 16, 20, 24, 28. 12 plus 4 is 16. 12 plus 8 is 20. 12 plus 12 is 24. And 12 plus 16 is, it's a miracle. Next one's going to be 20, 24, 28, and 30 what? 32. That's how you do 2 die being rolled. Now, we'll show you a trick I learned in the war. I'm going to run out of colors, but that's okay. You'll see the patterns. Hopefully you see them. Yeah. I'm going to break out my colors that I don't use very often here. I got a silver and a copper. I don't use them very often. I only use them for special occasions. Here's my copper. Well, that sucked. I need to return that to Sharpie. That didn't even work good. I need to go slow, I guess. Okay, that really sucks. I'm going to send Sharpie. I'm going to send Sharpie. They're going to fix that one. They're going to give me a new one. I just bought that. And here's the silver. Now, I think y'all can do the rest. Let me ask you a question. What's your denominator? How many possibilities do you have? Well, what's 4 times 4?
16.
Okay, so your denominator for all of your probabilities is going to be 16. So how many 8s do we have? Well, 1 out of 16. How many 12s do we have? Well, there's 2 out of 16, which is equal to 1/8. And then there's, let's see, there's 16s, there's 3. 20s, there's 4, which is equal to 1/4. 24, there's 3. 28, there's 2 over 16, which is equal to 1/8. And then 32, there's 1 out of 16. Now let me ask you a question. How difficult is that? It's not difficult, but a lot of people don't know how to do it because they've never been shown. Whenever you're dealing with 2 die being rolled, this is the best way to do it. So just for giggles, let's do this for your test for the people that's going to write it down. 2 regular die or dice. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, could you look this up on Google? Yeah. It's called 2 dice sample space. And they got a bunch of them. Of course, you would have to print it out, and some of y'all can't do that. So 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 5, 6, 7. And you'll see a pattern. The next one's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The next one's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The next one's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The next one's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And the next one's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then, of course, you see, and some of y'all are just surprised. 12 years of school and y'all are surprised at what you see here. But knowledge is power and ignorance is what the government wants. Here we go. And if you don't think the government wants ignorance, then why do they not teach income tax, taxes, tips, and business math in high school? And before anybody goes crazy, I'm not anti-government. I just think that sometimes people like for people to be ignorant when it comes to some things, especially when it comes to your taxes and income and stuff like that. Next one. So I hope I didn't offend anybody. All right, next one. And the last one is 7A 17 slash what? 7A 17 slash 11. First of all, is it a test question? The first part is, I don't like the way they ask the second part because it's confusing. So now that you know what a sample space is, this is the same as 2 coins or 2 kids. So warm. I hate that word. I hate to say that word. That's my moist, okay? You know how y'all hate the word moist? I hate the word warm. WW or WW, depending on where you're from. If you're from the perfect states, then it's WW. If you're from the redneck, dumb, ignorant states, it's W. WW, WC. You will not hear Hubert say WW. I just don't say that. I don't say daddy either. I called my daddy. I called him Diddy. D-I-D-D-Y. So for some of you non-perfect people, I can relate to you. All right. CW and CC. Just like if you live in Belton, you don't say Belton, okay? You ever heard one of those people? You know they're a transplant. You know they come from somewhere else. When they go, where are you from? I'm from Belton, South Carolina. Belton. Okay, I've never heard of Belton before. And the ones up in Powdersville, they say Powdersville. And some of y'all are not going to say a word. Nope.
I don't know. I didn't really know what to say to that.
Okay, you don't. Where are you from?
I'm from Northern Virginia.
Okay, well then you don't know what I'm talking about around here.
Yeah, not
Justin.
really.
Yeah, because you're not a local yokel. Who in here is from Belton or Honeypath? That's another good one. Honeypath. It's honey, like honey you put on a biscuit. It's Honeypath, not Honeypath. All right, I'll shut up. Y'all not gonna talk to me. So that's the 4 choices. That's your subspace, sample space. Just like tails, tails,
You have a work
tails,
email.
heads, heads, tails, and heads, heads. Or girl, 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 boy, boy, girl, and boy, boy. Hopefully you're starting to understand how to put a sample space together. Of course, we could have went over this, when somebody asked a question, but nobody ever asked a question, so I didn't know if you knew it or not. All right. If we are only interested in the number of W days, I said that for y'all, W, what are the possible events for 2 consecutive days? And these are the possible events. 0 W's, 1 W, or 2 W's. I don't like that question because it's confusing. So that's the answer. Okay. Same thing with how many different, right here, I'll show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about with that. How many W's? Well, you got 0 W's, you've got 1 W, and you got 2 W's. Here, we've got 0 tails, 1 tails, or 2 tails. Here we've got 1 or 0. I'm going to put 0 down here. 1 and 2. 1 girl or 2 girls. So that's where this answer comes from right here. Okay. And that's it. That's all the homework questions that I got. Plus those 3 that we went over the other day. And the ones before that, we did about 4 or 5.
You have a work
So
email.
that takes care. Somebody's blowing up my email. I don't know what they're doing, but they're blowing it up. All right. Yep. See? So let's look at, and I don't have much time. It's already time. Okay. Sorry I wasn't able to go over the test. So y'all knock it out tonight. And I will see y'all, let's see, what's today? Wednesday? I'll see y'all Friday, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good
I
day.
didn't take the roll.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't take the roll. Shoot. I won't have to take the roll right quick. I'm sorry. I just need to check the ones that weren't here. Just let me check that right quick. If you wasn't here Tuesday, stay, okay, for a second, just so I can, if you wasn't here Monday. And there's only like 3, I think. So if you were here Monday, you can go ahead.
All right. Have a good day.
Faculty, attendance tracker, and this is 103. And set attendance. Turn the recorder off.